Where we left off was a big store-wide walkout, or at least, our main characters, with obviously the exception of Dina, who is still back in the store managing now. So yeah, that's where this season this season begins like moments later. It's almost just a continuation of that episode, and hilarity ensues, but I'm not going to tell you anything about it.
Nice.
Sorry, you'll have to watch. I got a lot of good feedback last year. A lot of fun people, a lot of like cool people come up to me, which is sort of if you come up to me and say I'm a fan of your show, I immediately start judging you so that I can kind of get a read on who's watching. And it's like a lot of young people, which is really cool. I feel like we've tapped into some sort of youthful zeitgeist. But all in all, like I think it was received really, really well. I think it grew on a lot of people. Even some of the haters in my own family by the season finale were like, "Oh my God, it's like night and day. This show's amazing." I'm like, "No, you just sort of warmed to it and got to know the characters and you're invested." But it's funny. I would watch it, and that's where I was before this show started. I was like, I want to be on a show that I would watch. What's fun about Jonah and really sort of America and I and the way we operate as real humans, it's kind of swapped. I think America's a really positive, happy person, and I'm sort of the pessimist and the cynic and the grump. So it's really funny to kind of swap that, and it's real fun for us to play those characters. But yeah, I think Jonah kind of began there. And then the writers on our show figured out all the things they could make fun of me, Ben Feldman, for, and wrote them into scripts. So it's sort of like they started with this happy-go-lucky optimist and then ended with the same guy, but with a bunch of ridiculous flaws that are mine. In a way, when you're in that kind of situation, you get to be in on the joke that is your own life. We had a lot of favorite moments from last season. Usually if it's an all-cast scene, everybody has a blast, or at least everybody has a blast for the first half of the scene, and then we're all tired because it takes forever to shoot. We shot the pilot in an actual Kmart, a working Kmart, and so they based All Nighter, an episode later in the season, on one of the nights we spent shooting in that Kmart, where it started at like 7 p.m. and by like 4 or 5, everyone was delirious and insane, and there were dance parties, and we were a bunch of idiots. And we forget that we're not in a real store all the time. I mean, but it goes both ways. If I go into a real store, I forget that I'm not on set too. It's sort of this one giant like sky blue blob right now in my life, and it's real weird to go into a Walmart or a Kmart or a Target or any of those, because you walk in and you're like, oh, did I forget my lines? Is somebody supposed to be miking me right now? Season 2s are always great on TV shows because we've already established this is the world, these are the people in it, get to know them, and now you get the writers and the actors and everybody just get to sort of build on that. And so that's why I think a lot of season 2s are like the best seasons for most shows. And so far, from what I've seen from this one, we're right in line with that. It's super funny. Everything we read is 20 times funnier than the last thing we read. But as far as what happens, you're just gonna have to watch. The show's relatable. The show is very Americana. Everybody's been in one of these stores or works in one of these stores or a store like it. I can't tell you how many people in just any sort of retail or product, whatever, feel like this show was written for them. So that's one thing, but it's the characters, I think that's why a lot of like the people who even didn't like it at first and then came around, these are really, really well thought out, hilarious, specific characters. And I think you know them, or you know a version of them in life, and it's just easy kind of to fall for them.